Christian Kukuk will try and win this Grand Prix from the front with Just Be Gentle, the German Olympic champion from Paris. He's just here. He's had a little bit of a canter around Shamu's Pond, as Alan refers to it, just looking at that first line. His countdown is running, and he's going to pick up an approach of the right rein here, so he will turn in the air and change from right rein to left rein over the first of the jump off. So off and running here for the Lugano Grand Prix. And I think what's probably quite clever about what he did was he just let the horse really relax and look and be conscious as much as she wished of that bright blue pond with the whales in it, because he wanted to be close in and he didn't want that to impact any lack of attention about how close he was going to be from the first two fences. It's a super spot there across the Kubota. At the wheels up, 33 seconds, 1 to go. The Lugano Diamonds fence. He is clear all the way. He's just over 40 seconds. What does it mean in the final overall analysis of this competition? Has he done enough? Christian Kukuk, Just Be Gentle. You'd imagine with the field of horses and riders still to come that he's left the door a wee bit open. I think we're going to see faster. What Christian will hope to have done, though, is to have gone just fast enough. And by that I mean picking up a pace and delivering a time that is clear, that anyone going faster than that really puts themselves at risk. What you missed, I'm sorry to say, while we were watching that replay, was Sophie Hinners absolutely racing around that pond. So, and that's one of the places where I think Christian Kukuk might have left a little bit to go. And Sophie Hinners is not going to leave anything there. Look at her. She's absolutely flying on her approach here to number one, and she is just going to completely ignore this fence. She's just riding her line and letting Combella pick it up. Yeah, and there we are. That's exactly what Christian Kukuk hoped to achieve, to wind up the other competitors so much that they were throwing themselves at just a little bit too much pace at some of these jumps. So front rail off that oxer there that used to have the water tray underneath. So Sophie on 4. And she's turned the temperature right down onto this round. The horse takes a good shift through the left shoulder then. That'll bring her up here quite short to the Lugano Diamonds. Is over that 44.03, the time taken. But of course, regardless of the time, clear beats 4. And Christian Kukuk is the one to beat. As I say, just over 40 seconds from Christian. Somebody will get around this course in under 40 seconds from amongst this field, no doubt about it. The question, though, can they do it on the 0 score? So a quick debrief and review there in the Engage 4, the team behind Sophie Hinners, Iron Dames Combella. And after 2 riders, we've dealt with 1 nation entirely. The 2 German contenders, Christian Kukuk and Sophie Hinners, have set their score, and they can do no more than wait and watch and see how the rest of this jump off plays out. Laura Kraut, Bisquetta. Laura's team appearance in Wellington 3 weeks ago was her 90th Nations Cup appearance for the United States of America, and a team rider who has helped deliver Olympic team gold, world team gold, and at the last 2 Olympic cycles, team silver. almost wasn't space to be further left over that fence. Again, they are just thinking so much about time and space. Struggled off the ground a tiny bit there for the Oxa, so found the back rail, and it is wide, that Oxa. It is 165 wide. So that back rail is a long distance away, especially if you're not on the perfect takeoff spot and with the perfect takeoff power. One to go. Sophie Hinners, 44.03 with 4 faults, could be beaten here, and it's going to put Laura Kraut into second place for the moment, but still just that one double clear from Christian Kukuk and Just Be Gentle. We saw the Geneva Grand Prix in December, won from first in the jump-off by Harry Smulders. We saw Nick Skelton win an Olympic individual gold medal from first in the jump-off. It's rare, but my goodness, when it happens, it can be very, very valuable. They are going to try and try. Laura came in with a sort of a no-nonsense attitude. She didn't really look at that turn where she had the rail. She just went straight over into her position, picked up her starting pace, and came through the timers. Here's Mimi Gotchman, mind you, looking at that turn. And looks like she's going to carry on, is she, and take a left-hand approach to the first. So Mimi Gotchman, very, very well-known, very successful junior youth championship rider here in North America. Podium finisher in 5-star Grand Prix this spring with Inclen down South Florida. Get this official split here in a moment coming through. 2/3 of a second down on the Olympic champion. That's not bad. And remember, if she's clear, she goes into minimum second place. Come on, Mimi, a little bit to go. The Lugano fence, 40.61 to beat. She's not going to be quite there, but it is going to be a competitive second place for the moment. 41.20 for Mimi Gotchman from West Palm, Florida. And that is only our second double clear. I say, as an individual rider, no concern with the team and the planning and the tactics and the horse management that's going to be so critical in delivering a big result in Longines League of Nations. Mimi Gotchman and Inclen have been laser focused on their performance in this big Grand Prix, a $350,000 Grand Prix, and they have made it stick. To go double clear in this company, when you look at some of the riders who've had faults in the jump off, you look at some of the riders who had faults in the first round. So those were the 4 contenders who picked up their clear before the midway. The first of 5 remaining then is with a hometown advantage, Hunter Holloway. Hunter originally from Topeka, Kansas, rides Henry Jota Ariel. We've seen Hunter in great form through this ring all spring. We've seen this horse in great form in this ring all spring. She was telling us in that interview during the build-up to the jump-off as well, the partnership she's had with this horse for a long time, and this would be very, very meaningful if she ended up on the podium alone in this company, but to take the victory, and Hunter can do it. She's won some brilliant classes in America and ended up being podium in the Longines FEI Jumping World Cup Finals in Omaha. So she has chosen a strategy of trying to settle in for the clear, and that is what you risk. You're 2.7 seconds slower than Christian Kukuk because you're trying to make sure that you're giving your horse enough time and space to think and understand the question. Then if you have a rail, though, you are slow and you are way down the ranking. 48 seconds with 4 faults is... I'll just get it confirmed in a moment, but to my mind, that is 5th of 5. It is for Hunter Holloway and Henry Jota Ariel. It's such a risk, you know, to ride conservatively, to ride safely is ironically a huge risk in terms of your final ranking. Henry Jota Ariel and Hunter Holloway. Here it is, the Florida Coast Equipment Kubota meter orange and black vertical onto the lights down. We get 2 looks at it as well from the 2 angles, unfortunately for them, and that full falls coupled with the pace they had chosen, proving expensive. So a rider in the winner's circle in the under-25 and the World Cup qualifier tour here a month ago in Ocala, Nina Mallevaey, ended up top 10 in that World Cup qualifier, and now she has a chance to take this 5-star Grand Prix victory with Nika von der Bisschop. Rides the original 6 strides there, Oxford to Longines vertical. Time, 1/4 of a second difference. This is doable. Does one of the top U25 riders in the world overtake the Olympic champion on a 5-star Grand Prix winning horse? 40.61. It's not going to be quite there, I don't think. Nina Mallevaey makes a huge effort, 41.14, just in front of Mimi Gotchman. Nina is going to be into second place. A fraction over half a second between Christian Kukuk and Nina Mallevaey, and Nina then just 600ths in front of Mimi Gotchman in terms of time. But what a partnership now she is building up and up with this horse, this Olympic horse, Nika von der Bisschop. And I'd say the odds on her making the European Championships team for France just shortened considerably. A lot will rest on Saturday night in the Longines League of Nations debut for Dina, mind you, but that is very, very classy. Seventh of 9 to qualify was Kian O'Connor. Kian with Carlswood Partners Ironman. So Kian has his World Cup qualifier winner here from World Equestrian Centre Ocala, Bentley de Sury, as his team horse for Saturday night. And will be joined on that by his young student Tom Watchman, who was also top 5 with Tabasco in that World Cup qualifier, and that's the horse he'll ride on Saturday. Kian also comes in off a left-hand approach, so keeps on that left-hand circuit all the way around to the second fence on course. He is going to be slower than Kukuk. It is, again, within the margin of error. He is neck and neck with Nina Mallevaey at the time check. He's quite daring there. He's really down and racing now as he goes past the in-gate to the wheels up. That could have been the moment he made the difference from between the 2 new fences. 40.61. It's so close, but not quite. 1/5 of a second. 40.61 for Christian Kukuk, 40.81 for Kian O'Connor. Kian is all smiles, even though he's second place. And you saw him there just make that sort of, oh, wow, when he looked up and he realized the fraction of a time. That is nice. That is the 12-year-old Ironman by Charisma for Kian O'Connor, posting a very, very respectable score. And I think one of the things that will most please Kian is that moment there after the Kubota when he asked and the horse answered to really, really pick up the pace. Now that pleasure, and that's pleasure in the horse and its performance. You never once saw a moment where Kian looked up at that scoreboard and was disappointed to be in second. He was pleased as punch with that horse, and to be within that margin of Christian Kukuk and the 5-star Grand Prix winner, just be gentle. But now the world champion partnership of the sport, I say they have looked over the last few weeks and all spring like they've got their mojo as a partnership back. They are in sync. They made the first round here look like a day in the park. Now, as we've been talking, look at Henrik von Eckermann, and this is the way he always rides. He's up out of the saddle, he's forward, he's engaged, and King Edward knows that. and they have the ability now, if they stay in the sync we've seen, to run away with this class, I think. Fairly wide there. Is he looking for foot speed to make up the difference in comparison to some of the others' tighter lines? Look at him jink across to the two remaining parts of the triple combination. He's slow. He's 2/3 of a second down. Again, it's within the margin of error if he can really pick up, but, you know, 2/10 of a second feels more doable than 2/3 of a second. Right, he's got to risk it all the way home. 40.61, he is not taking this. He didn't really pick up that jump-off round by the scruff of the neck and give it a shake the way we thought he might. 42.22, Henrik von Eckermann and King Edward taking the double clear here tonight, but in terms of time, in 5th place. And there's one contender remaining who could stop Christian Kukuk winning this from the front. Iglesias and Olivia, winners at the Mediterranean Equestrian Tour Oliva of a Grand Prix out there. We've seen them in World Cup action also in Bordeaux this spring. And as we said, Olivier's horse as part of the French team last year at the Longines League of Nations finals in Barcelona. 40.61 is the time to beat, set by first to go Christian Kukuk. He's been joined by 4 other double clears, but he is 2/10 of a second in front of his nearest contender, Kian O'Connor. Can Olivier Robert find a couple of inches somewhere in this ring to be quicker and in front of Christian Kukuk? No is the answer, because he is down on the clock. He's over a second down. He got up ahead of steam there going across the Kubota, and he's keeping the pressure up. He doesn't want to be too far down the ranking. Team rider for Saturday night for France, Olivier Robert, posts a double clear, 42.83, and that is going to go into 6th position. So it ended up with 6 double clear rides. Olivier Robert, the latest and lowest ranked of them, and it was our first in the ring. Christian Kukuk, nobody, false or otherwise, getting under 40 seconds around this track. Christian Kukuk looked like he'd left a little bit there for everyone else, but it turned out not to be the case. Despite everyone's best efforts, the closest they could get was 2/10 of a second behind, and that was Kian O'Connor. Christian Kukuk, the Olympic champion, is our winner, as we just watched these highlights of Olivier Robert and his jump-off round with Iglesias DV, one of 2 riders to qualify to the 9-strong jump-off for France, the Olympic medalists last summer in Paris. So let's have a look at the classification of the Lugano Grand Prix. Christian Kukuk victorious, Kian O'Connor in second. The 2 riders that Amy had as her head-to-head feature in the pre-show. Nina Mallevaey, the young talent of France, is podium finishing in 3rd. Mimi Gotchman is the highest-ranked individual rider, the 20-year-old from Florida, in 4th. Henrik von Eckermann 5th. Olivier Robert 6th. And then Laura Kraut, Sophie Hinners, Hunter Holloway, all with the rail in the jump-off. Richie Vogel, Kevin Jochems, single time fault each. Geraldine Straumann, 2 for time in the initial round. And then here are those who had the single rail in the first round. And what I love about top-level course design at the moment, and what is so positive, is you don't see lots and lots of riders on big scores. We saw a whole page there of riders, some of the very best in the world, with that single unlucky rail, just missing out on the jump-off. And that is really nice design. And of course,